like to be independent, but for me to say that that's the way it's going to be at the present time, no. We're currently facing a $1.5 to $2 million deficit. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we cut a $5 million deficit, almost $6 million deficit, to $2.4 million. That is manageable.
Perhaps, but from the very beginning, my position on this has been that this has to be an East Cleveland decision first. This wasn't going to be Cleveland doing any kind of takeover or anything of that nature. If the people of East Cleveland made the decision that we would like to enter into this type of arrangements, then I'm very open to that. And I think there's a lot of exciting possibilities. I agree.
A number of steps before you actually openly encourage the expansion of the type of development that is in University Circle. There absolutely has to be a partnership between the city of Cleveland and East Cleveland. I don't believe that Cleveland City Hall has done.
Help us. Ken Smith went beyond. He worked with
This is the
Kevin,
state representative who represents
state
that area.
Representative Ken Smith, but like Kelly said, the General Assembly has to act. He tried to get them to do something in the budget, but they would not. Okay? Now, Yotes threw out $10 million, which is a drop in the bucket. We need more than that. But it would have been a start, but he was trying to badger us from the standpoint of, well, if you do this, maybe you get your $10 million.
It's problematic for me because the core of this issue, how do you attract professionals? How do you attract? You gotta have something to attract them with. And we gotta talk about who are we talking about. The young professionals that have taken root in downtown Cleveland and who have taken root at University Circle or Tremont or Ohio City, Detroit Shoreway are usually, and I'm glad they're in Cleveland, usually are white professional people, population like we're losing in Cleveland. And number two, because I care about the folks over in East Cleveland, many of them are my folks I know. I grew up in Collinwood and Glenville, so I know a lot of East Clevelanders. But there's this tension here. And Nate has said it a couple times. We will not be taken over. There is not a boogeyman out there licking their lips to take over East Cleveland. There is some folks who want part of your land to make money. Don't get me, but they don't want the city. So Chris don't want the city. Chris wants, come on, man, all right? Chris wants, I agree, Chris wants Euclid. Room and they're building on top of each other in University Circle. So all they can do is go east. So how can you create a partnership that doesn't create this takeover that many of these Clevelanders fear, this gentrification issue? At the same time, how can the business community benefit? We absolutely cannot save East Cleveland, whether as a charter city or a annexed part of city of Cleveland without, this is Kevin's correct, without state money or Fed. But now that we got what's his name in there, I don't even think the Feds are in the mix. I was hoping behind hope if Hillary was in there, we might have had a shot at some Fed money, but they need money no matter what. They need to be able to go in there with infrastructure repairs quickly. And then also work with the...
Respect each other, respect the difference of opinion, agree to disagree, respect each other, men, women, brothers and sisters. Look out for our neighbors. We're neighbors. Let the egos get away. We have a shared humanity. We need each other.
There absolutely has to be a partnership between the city of Cleveland and East Cleveland. I don't believe that Cleveland City Hall has done what it needs to do to proactively get involved.
Providing the basic services, we reach out, like in terms of our streets, ODOT, we reach out to them, and we've got help from Cleveland Heights, even though Cleveland Heights hasn't stepped up to be involved in the annex discussion. So we reach out. We're scratching by. However, this is a key year, 2017. I need to share this with the public. We're facing a $1.5 million and $2 million deficit. It may diminish over a few months. So 2018 is going to be the challenging year. Okay. Send a letter. I sent the letter. Spoke with the Tim King, connected with the state. We had our state rep to help us in the process, Kent Smith.
When Cleveland really wants something, and when the call goes out to the business community that it really wants something, it gets it from the state. Whether it's Opportunity Corridor, the $100 million mile project, whether it is the association with raising money for putting our 2 turnpike bridges up, whether it is to go down there and get a law passed to stop voters from voting on $15 an hour minimum wage. No matter if we wanted it, it happens, but there's a key factor that's always part of this, is that it has to be in the interest of the business community, because they're the ones who have the relationship with Kasich and the Republic. Now that's one argument. And then the other argument just deals with, if we don't do something, what will happen? Cleveland Heights has no interest, unless you just give them the park on the hill.
We don't know. I mean, that's something we need to figure out. I mean, it seems intuitive that it may be, since we have certain infrastructure, but we just don't know. And when we talk about shared services or the previous question, right now the way that the things are, Cleveland can't give away its assets, and we can't provide services for free unless there's some public purpose. The mayor's administration were in conversations, those types of conversations. They were in conversations with looking at their finances and looking at
After the petition.
No, it was after the petition, but they're not going to step in.
Well, now, hold on a second.
Yeah, but
I don't want this to turn into a debate.
I'm not getting defensive.
Nobody had an interest in East Cleveland until East Cleveland brought the petition. They didn't want to care about them. They didn't have no interest. You as president, the mayor's mayor, left that to deteriorate. I know why, because I'm the one next door to it. And what's happening over there impacts Cleveland, but particularly impacts my ward. So I start there, that this is not some intellectual discussion that I'm just sitting in my living room. It is the difference between my ward in East Cleveland, the condition of the street versus my street. It's bad enough in Cleveland, let alone to have the additional issues. And then, of course, the question of security, the fact that our officers, though it may be the same street, like Woodworth, are not supposed to help the folks over there. So there is a intimate relationship between the northeast part of Cleveland and East Cleveland. Therefore, those who live in the west side don't feel it. They intellectualize it. And what happens in most of Cleveland, and in a good part of my ward, is that don't even think about it. Until the problems of East Cleveland financially, no one came to East Cleveland and said, we want to take you over. No one ever told you that. So when it came down to it, this is a reaction to how do we best help a city that's, if not bankrupt, near bankruptcy. And that's what the debate here is. And just this whole idea, why don't we take over Bay Village? Because Bay Village ain't bankrupt. Bay Village ain't got no fiscal problem. Bay Village don't want to be a part of us because we're a majority black city. I mean, no, that's my opinion. Yeah. Bay Village don't want to be part of us because Bay Village is doing fine. And when it's all said and done, East Cleveland don't want to be part of Cleveland if it can stabilize, because it's all about wanting to be able, have this proud history of legacy.
Well, for everybody who has an interest in this, this is a situation of great regional interest. We all talk about regionalism if it's something that's going to save the world, but here's an opportunity. You've got a community that's struggling, and there's different solutions been proposed, but there's got to be. We throw numbers around, but we haven't really done any kind of planning. We don't know what the real number is for the capital, for the infrastructure. We don't know whether the recent judgments that East Cleveland's experienced are going to be won on appeal or if they're dischargeable in bankruptcy. We just don't know this. The foundations or whomever could certainly play a role in terms of putting together studies, planning what needs to happen.
President and is that mayor in 2017 willing to put its political capital on behalf of East Cleveland and Columbus without annexation being on the table? The answer is no.
Okay, now certainly.
Chris is not downtown in 601 Lakeside conspiring in a corner with us trying to figure out, let's take over East Cleveland so I can get no, that's not how, because first of all, I would not be party to regentrification of the western part of East Cleveland. It's not going to happen. I don't know about Frank Jackson because I obviously I feel he needs to go. I wouldn't be running against him, but that's another deal. But the point I'm making is I think we have failed to treat East Cleveland like the brother city or the sister city that it is. There is a tension, and the tension simply says is this. They're not going to listen to you. I don't care if Kent Smith turns blue in his face. They're not going to listen to you. I don't care if Kent Smith turns blue in his face. The folks in Columbus don't trust, whether it's earned or not earned, they don't trust the governing structure of East Cleveland. They don't trust that if they put their money into East Cleveland, that it will be a return. So how do you help get that? Well, you got to bring credible partners with you to the table. You're not going to get it by yourself. And recalling folks, even though you're mad at them, with 1 year left in their term, ain't helping.